Well, greetings, YouTube. LMS Tactical here. I hope everybody's doing good. I want to just talk a little bit about this name change that they're doing in South Africa, from the beautiful name of Port Elizabeth to the new politically correct name of Kwakabalakalaka, or whatever the hell, however you pronounce it. You know, so many of you had warned us here in America that we were just a couple of steps behind you. And I always said you guys were the canary in the coal mine as far as our politics. And we are being decimated by these leftist scumbags who are trying to change anything and everything that is historical or quote unquote normal and turn it into some feel good bullshit. And just so you know, we're going through the same shit here as far as these feel good, politically correct, crappy social experiments. For those who don't know what I'm talking about, uh, it appears that they are doing an audit of offensive names that harken back to the days of apartheid and changing them so that people can feel good about themselves, because that's a lot more important than feeding people or equal pay and equal rights for all races in South Africa. God forbid we should have that. So they're taking away this original name of Port Elizabeth, and I'm sure it's going to hit every other uh, section of South Africa, which anybody that has studied history knows at one time was a beautiful first world country with the rand more powerful than the United States dollar. And like every country that is infected with the cancer of the leftist commie scum, uh, the country has devolved into a mess, a bloody, murdering mess where the white minorities are slaughtered because they're white and they have no rights. You guys know what's going on in South Africa. But it's just I don't have an answer to this whole thing. It's just more of a vent. The a lot of people ask, well, what's the big deal in changing a name? We went through it with our sports teams. We're going through it. As everybody knows, that the white Christian male in America is responsible for every horror that ever happened around the world, according to these leftist scumbags. We slaughtered and tortured the Indians. Oh, I'm sorry, Native Americans, who were just sitting peacefully weaving baskets before we got here, which anybody that's ever read a book knows that is not what was happening. The American Indians were enslaving each other, torturing each other, conquering each other's tribal lands, conquering each other's hunting grounds. You know, white people, whether they're American or South African or wherever they are, did not invent cruelty and conquering, slavery, and all this other shit. That's contrary to what's being taught to our precious young people. That's not the way it is. But at any rate, we have a lot of foot. I'm not a sports fan, but I can, obviously I'm aware of the fact that a lot of our football, and I'm talking about American football, teams were named after Indians and Indian tribes, Indian associated names. Good God, now I can't think of a friggin' name. The Redskins, the Washington Redskins. Well, somebody thought that was offensive, and 9 out of 10 times it's a white person, non-Indian, who brings it up and says, "Hey, we got to change this because it's offending people." And there's an awful lot of Indians that aren't offended by that. Quite frankly, I think it's an honor. Now, somebody's going to say, well, how can you speak for an Indian? You're not an Indian. Because I have a fucking brain, and I still have free thought, and I can empathize. As I've said in other videos, I don't have to step into a volcano to know that it's probably not going to end well for me. Okay, I can think outside of my own experience. And when you have, the Warriors or the Redskins, to me, if I was an Indian, I'd be honored, because that's a symbol of strength. People don't name their teams after losers and weak things that describe a weakness. They want to portray strength and victory. But, leave it to the white leftist scums to come up and push this. So they're changing all the names. And you see it here. They're tearing down statues because they make people feel bad. And somehow that's going to right a wrong. Changing street names. It's actually very pathetic. You're going to find in South Africa, as you already know, that changing the beautiful name that Port Elizabeth has had for so long isn't going to make one positive change in anybody's life. Nobody's going to get fed because of it, and nobody's going to not be murdered or attacked or raped or mutilated because now the population is happy because of a name change. This is the shit that they're feeding our young people in schools, not just here, but in Europe and South Africa as well. They're taking everything that was historically normal and accepted. In our country, I posted a thing not too long ago on another site where there's some industries they have signs that you cannot address people by their gender. It has to be a gender-free. I don't even know what the fuck that means, and I'm not going to research it because I'm going to address men as men and women as women, and if that offends them, they can kiss my fucking pink ass. Coca-Cola, the company of Coca-Cola, is sending its employees through training right now, teaching them how to be less white, teaching the white people to not be so white. What the fuck does that mean? And why is that not discrimination? Why is that allowed? It's allowed because we all have allowed, all around the world, we've allowed these leftist scumbags to push their agenda on us, and they are destroying everything good and turning it into something that's gonna leave our countries in such shitty shape. Soon we'll be just like South Africa. So what's the answer, Mike? I don't have the answer. I mean, the enemy is too scattered. They're not. The enemy is an idea that has been taught to entire generations of young people that feelings are more important than reality. I've raised 7 kids, and do I care about their feelings? I do care about their feelings. I care about people's feelings. I care about some strangers' feelings. If I'll hold the door open for them or bump into them and tell them, excuse me. But feelings don't trump reality. And feelings aren't going to undo something that offends somebody in the past. And somebody that didn't experience it has no right to be offended, if you ask me. I watched on the video I saw at South Africa, there was naturally a white lady, and she was going on to talk about that she, and this is the theme of these leftist scumbags, that I have enjoyed a higher quality of life because of the crimes of my forefathers. Well, people that drive cars have enjoyed, it's better than walking or riding a horse, ain't it? I come from a Jewish background on my father's side, and Henry Ford was an anti-Semite. Does that mean I'm not going to drive a fucking car? I don't care if Hitler invented the car. I like riding more than I like walking, so I'm going to drive the goddamn car. So it's just, you can't inject common sense into an illogical debate or discussion or an argument. Do we just have to sit here and gnash our teeth and pull our hair out? I don't have an answer, man. And I just think it's sad and it's sick. And maybe if people just didn't succumb to it, I'm not going to. My generation is a write-off, because I'm telling you right now, we are not going to succumb to this, men taking, going into the little girl's bathroom because the men want to be a woman today. I better not see that shit. And I'm not going to succumb to this. I got to address everybody in a way that doesn't offend a transgender if they happen to be somewhere within earshot. That's like I've said so many times. That's like having 1,000 people in a room and you got 2 that are different than the others, and all of the others in the room have to change their whole way of life so that those 2 people don't get offended. Hey, man, they need to fucking adjust so that they're not so goddamn sensitive. That's my opinion on it. What do you guys think? Hope you guys are doing good. Stay safe. LMS Tactical, I'm out.